Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego here, welcoming you to Enfuegotainment, my namesake program. And today, we are beginning the 12 days of Krimbas, as I am so affectionately calling it. Happy Festivus, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, whatever you love to celebrate here during the holiday season of December. But yeah, man, I'm talking on this first day about 2020's new release, starring Mel Gibson and Walton Goggins. We be talking Fatman! No, nope, can't do that. But yeah, this is one where, you know, obviously Mel really pissed off a lot of people with his terrible anti-Semitic comments, rightfully so, and he was in a Hollywood doghouse for a number of years, and a lot of people still think that he should not have been given a second chance despite being, you know, remorseful and all that other stuff. And I know it's often tough, dependent upon the transgressions, to separate a person and their personal life from the art and their creative capacity with which to create, especially the amount of talents that a lot of these people tend to have of this, like, volatile kind of creative sort of sense. I mean, think about Eminem, think about, obviously, who else? Russell Crowe in the actor category. You know, it's the case with a lot of people, and you know, a lot of these people are brilliant, and I would classify Mel Gibson as a brilliant creative. I mean, whether directing or acting, he kind of made a comeback in Jodie Foster's directorial film The Beaver, and he slowly, you know, kind of worked his way back into it. But I mean, I recently watched Hacksaw Ridge, and that guy can still direct the out of a movie, and I still love him as an actor, you know, whether, you know, Braveheart or, you know, Lethal Weapon or Ransom. I mean, Conspiracy Theory. I was all in with Gibson growing up, you know, with my father being a big fan of his as well. So yeah, Fatman. From the trailer, it gave us the vibe that this is going to be a crazy caper, violent as hell, because it is R-rated, and the premise is basically that this kid who's a little schmuckty, he's been a bad little boy, and after he gets some coal in his stocking, he decides, okay, I'm rich, I'm gonna hire this hitman played by Walton Goggins to go after the Fatman, you know, Mr. Kris Kringle, and take him down because this kid, yes, this time it's personal. And so, yeah, Walton Goggins is, as I said, the aforementioned, yeah, guy who's trying to track down Santa and, you know, bust a cap in his ass, yo. And, but it's really so much less about that, and more so about the fact that Mr. Kringle is disillusioned with the fact that, that kids are getting worse, you know. They're much more self-involved, you know, with their devices, and, you know, they're worse to their parents, and they're bullying, you know, more so, and all this different stuff. And so, in turn, he's making less presents, and you find out these weird inner workings of the fact that Santa is, like, well known to the U.S. government. He's living in Alaska. That's where his base of operations is with his elves, and with, you know, Mrs. Claus, who is, she's steadfast, and she really kind of, you know, helps him along. And I forget the name of the actress. It's a African-American British actress, and she's tremendous as his other half, and perhaps, you know, his, well, definitely his better half in a lot of instances in this film. And so it's really, it's far more heartfelt than I was expecting. I thought that this was gonna be like ultra-violent, dark comedy sort of thing. I mean, there's various examples that I could use. I mean, for a Christmas one, I thought this was gonna be, you know, the Ice Harvest kind of vibe, you know, with, like, you know, like, or like A Very Bad Things, if I'm gonna go in that sort of route. I thought this was gonna be a lot more hyper-violent than it actually was. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have a confrontation that really goes there in the third act without spoiling stuff, but really, it was just much more intriguing seeing, you know, just pulling the curtain back, seeing this incarnation of Santa's operation, and yeah, just this relationship he has with his wife, and some of the social commentary about, you know, children being worse behaved, at least in this filmmaker's eyes. And so that for that reason, I didn't end up getting from Fatman exactly what I was expecting. It was just in smaller doses, but Walton Goggins is great as this enigmatic, like, strange guy who has kind of an obsession with Santa in his own right. We don't get as much of the little shithead kid as I was expecting, but he's well-to-do and very very good at selling his nastiness, especially with this girl who he loses the science fair to after a succession of first place victories for a number of years, and leading into just something that shows just how cold-hearted this kid is, and gives us just kind of a prelude to what he's eventually going to just orchestrate and set into motion. But obviously Mel Gibson, he endears me immensely. You know, Kurt Russell, in that more squeaky clean, you know, action star turning into, you know, Santa, that was fine, I guess, but I really bought into Gibson in this role, man, and I dug it, and he had just range and emotion, and I mean, it's not really high with the laughs with him. He plays it relatively straight for the most part, and I appreciated that. And it didn't end up being quite as like badass Santa as I was expecting. You know, he's gruff and a little grizzled and stuff like that, you know, but yeah, he's not. This didn't turn into the like crazy ultra-violent shoot-'em-up that I feel like the trailers kind of build it as. But I still quite enjoyed this. It wasn't like instant classic status or anything, but it's definitely one that I feel like I need to show to my father before the holiday season ends. So I will most definitely, even though it's more like a 3.5, I always have to like commit to a solid Fuego Fireball, but this is 3 out of 5. More like 3.5, as I said, but yeah, it's bueno. It's good, it's a fun time, and it's a very unique take on the character of Kris Kringle. So, I'm Jaime En Fuego. Y'all can find me on all social media sectors, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, for these 12 days leading up to the 25th. I'm going to be reviewing a selection of both new and older Christmas films. Next up, I believe, is going to be Happiest Season, which is on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. It's got K-Stu, it has Dan Levy, Aubrey Plaza, Mackenzie Davis, Allison Brie, terrific cast, and also a very important you know, film as far as representation goes, and showing that love doesn't just come in the straight, you know, just silly bluish sort of manner. And so that's going to be next up. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd like to share or subscribe. It's totally appreciated. And yeah, lots of stuff besides the spooktacular that I cover here. My main gig is youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. But yeah, here it's more so like indie, art house, comedy, geeking out with stuff like Star Wars and Marvel. So yeah, check out the rest of the channel if you feel inclined, and I hope everybody has a fantabulous Festivus and holiday season, and until the Reel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, cinemigos. Constant viewers and readers alike, say thank you for a bit of your time today. Hopefully we share more of it sooner rather than later, and until then, stay home and watch more holiday fun.